Good morning, guys. How are you doing? That was good. I feel like I haven't accomplished anything in life. Amazing. I'm waiting for my clicker, so just give me a second. But I'll introduce myself. My name is Rashad Drakeford. I'm the head of content development at REVOLT TV, which was started by Sean D. Combs. Some of you guys may remember him. And the goal of REVOLT, when it was founded, was to create a home for artists and creators to share their story and their music. And so in 2013, when we started as a cable network. It's there? Awesome. Thank you. I didn't try this out yet, so. So we started as a cable network, and the idea was we are at the speed of social media. And over the first year or so, we learned, wow, this industry's changing, the landscape is changing. We're actually now a digital and social content network that has tentacles into television. We had to switch the entire model because of what was happening with the growth of digital, the growth of social, with Snapchat, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And so when we started dealing with this new landscape and in the changing model, we saw that we needed to go and actually talk to young people about content creation. Because what's happening in this new world is that people, everyday people like you and I, we're better content creators than actual content marketers. We tell authentic stories from our point of view, whether it's on Snapchat, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on Facebook. So we wanted to go out and talk to young people about that. All right. Okay. Am I controlling this? Okay, here we go. There we go. All right, now we're moving. And so this is what we call the art of reaching. So this is the general way that we see, a lot of brands see communication with consumers. So you have here traditional ways of doing this. So you have broadcast, outdoor, and print. So we see broadcast. So a lot of brands, they typically, you see your 30-second ad on television, your 60-second ad on television. You see your outdoor, like coming in from Cairo to Alexandria, a lot of billboards. So that's a big way of communicating and sending out a message. Print, we all know advertising that we always see. And so what happened though here is when we look at delivering a story or delivering a message, these typically are decently effective. But with the rise of technology, this is no longer enough. We're in a new space where it has to be about connecting with people. And so this is where we are now. So it's the art of seeding, it's the art of having conversations, the art of bringing people together. So it has to be about connecting with people on a deeper level to drive brand loyalty, to drive cultural equity, and ultimately, the most important for everyone in the room, purchase intent. And so this is pre-social media. So the funnel, the conversion, when you were trying to get a consumer, you start off with advertising, so we call it the spray and pray. So you cast a wide net and hope that you're going to capture people. And then you're hoping that that's going to drive awareness. And then that awareness will drive someone to try your product. And then hopefully they'll become a loyal consumer. But this, again, is not the best method because it's not measurable. This is how post-social media brands and your companies have to now engage with your consumers. And the idea of this is that the conversion funnel that I just showed you is now a spiral for brands. Everything is interconnected. You can no longer just stand on the sidelines and create ads. You have to participate in culture, engage with consumers. You have to talk to them and you have to talk with them and not at them. So we did in our research that we found, 1 in 2 say I value when a brand participates in culture. And they also say 86% say if a brand wants to reach me, they should provide me with interesting content. So this is important that when you are creating content for consumers, it has to be compelling. It has to be something that's shareable, something that they're going to enjoy, something that they're going to want to share with their friends. And also, when you're talking on social media to your consumers, don't talk like a company. Talk like a person. Make them feel like they can connect with you. Authenticity is the most important equity you could have in this time. And again, so we sat down with 4,000 students, young people, between the ages of 15 and 29, and 89% of them said this: if a brand wants to engage with me on social, they need to understand the rules within the platform they're posting within. What that means is, the way you post on Facebook and the conversations you have on Facebook cannot be the same as they are on Twitter, and they cannot be the same as they are on Snapchat. Every single platform has its own language. So we're going to go through a few of them. So here's Facebook, one of the most popular platforms in the world. Not for brands, one, because it has the largest reach. So you're going to get your mother, your grandmother, and you all in one place. And they have an incredible Facebook Insights back channel, so you're able to actually target your consumer very, very well. But again, everything has its own world. So 60% of our people that we talked to during our study, they told us that they see Facebook as a place for connective convenience, a place where they can access information. This is a great place for brands to connect directly to their consumer, but it's not the best place for massive engagement and expression. This is almost like your news home. This is your news feed. This is almost like your matter-of-fact space. And now we're on Twitter. So Twitter serves, like Facebook, as a place where people can get information, but unlike Facebook, it serves as a place to also give information. So it's a great environment to say what you really feel and talk to the world like never before. As we've seen around the world, this is a tool that can bridge us together during large events. This slide and the slide on Facebook and now the one on Twitter, a few things are in common here, and that's that these platforms tell consumers what's out there, who they are, and how they can orient themselves within the world. And your brand has to use these platforms to build strategies within this exact framework. Doing it for the gram. Who has Instagram in the room? As many as I thought. Reem, I know you have. And so this is an awesome place. So this is where a lot of young people can go to just express themselves. So if I'm with Ben and we're smoking shisha on the Mediterranean Sea, that's an opportunity for me to share and express myself. And this is where your brand can do that. You can highlight your products in a very expressive way. High-res photos. Like, this is a great opportunity to bring your brand and your products to life. Snapchat. I know this is growing here. I think I was Snapchatted by about 15 people today who here are Snapchat as well. Who prefers Snapchat over Instagram? Who prefers Snapchat over Facebook? Okay, see a few in the room. I honestly believe that this will be the platforms that brands will win at. I think this is the next frontier. I think this is an incredibly powerful platform because I think it removes a lot of the vanity of Instagram. I think there's a level of freeness that comes with this, with freedom that comes with this platform that you don't have on Facebook because your mom may see what you post. And also now with the opportunity to save your stories and deep link them into other platforms, this is a place where I think brands will really win at. So I'm really excited to see what happens here. YouTube. You know, this is such an amazing platform. And I think as brands, this is a great place for you also to tell your story. You know, the key motivation for millennials when they're engaging on YouTube is to learn. And it's historically one of the, and I don't know if people know this, but historically one of the most searched items on YouTube is how do you tie a tie? It's a place where people go to learn how to do things and also connect with people that are like them. So if you see, when we did our research, 160% said their key motivations is I want to learn. And so it's a place for people, again, that they can go to connect with people that like them and people that they can trust. So here's the usage of young people across that, these are the platforms that they're using across, this is how they consume content and across different platforms. And when we asked them, we said, on average, how many times do you use each of these platforms? They said at least once a day, and they told us up to 14 times a day. So this gives you a great breakdown of the age groups and where they're using. And I think one of the consistent things you see across the board, Facebook is like the home that everyone goes to. But again, I really do believe, as you see, females between the ages of 15 and 19, Snapchat is on the rise. I think that will be, again, where a lot of brands should be hanging their hats. And so I wanted to make sure that I just didn't talk to you guys too much. I wanted to make sure I left you with a few actionable steps. So these are the 4 keys to compelling branded content. The first one is be true to yourself. Be true to your brand. Again, you want to be so true that you're speaking to the attitudes and the experiences of your audience. Speak with your fans and not like your fans. A lot of brands get in trouble because they try to be too much like their consumer. Find the balance of being you and being inauthentic. You do not want to be in that space. Hold nothing back. When you authenticity means oversharing to the same extent your audience does. Mirror your audience in the way that you create content. And the last thing is think footprint, not billboard. So I think this to me is one of the key points, because you don't want to be a billboard. Don't just share messaging. Approach social like a human being. Show the totality of who you are beyond just your brand, and that will lead to wins. Any questions? Yeah.
Okay, in the third or fourth slides, you mentioned that the advertising funnel stuff.
Yeah.
You criticize it by it's not a measured way to do the brand. I find it very measured. How come, or in what sense you mean it's not measured?
Yeah. So if you create a 30-second ad and you plaster it on television.
Can we get back?
Yeah, we'll go back. Great question, by the way. This one right here, right? So what you're looking at here, right? So you're creating a 30-second ad and you're plastering it on a television channel, let's say, and the television channel has a certain metrics of Nielsen. Well, I'll talk for America. We have something called Nielsen ratings, and the Nielsen ratings, they're based on it's an algorithm based on, all right, I'm giving this home this type of box, and I'm going to track that home because I believe that home represents 100,000 other homes. And what that does is, in the era where we are now, micro analyzing, we have data that can go down to the T of who a person is and what their habits are, with like Facebook pixels, where I can literally track what a person does. So if someone goes on my site on Facebook and they click the like Revolt TV, I can actually go and actually see exactly what their behaviors are. Like if I want to reach someone who likes music, who lives in Alexandria, who's between the ages of 15 to 18, who also follows Jay-Z and Beyonce, and I have content that fits you, I can literally target you specifically. With TV, you can't do that because it's such a wide net. So this, with social media, now I'm gonna go to where's the slide? First one, here we go. Now, like with all these platforms have such specific analytics that you can actually grab the exact audience you want to make. Like Facebook ad is one of the most amazing tools in the world. You can literally get to the exact person. Like we created a documentary for London. It's called What's That Sound London? And we were focusing on indie London bands. And we were able to target the exact demo within the United Kingdom that we wanted to target, and it had incredible engagement. And so I think that's the power to the point of spray and pray. It's like, I'm gonna create a 30-second ad, I'm gonna create the biggest net I can, and hopefully I'll grab the loyalty and the conversion rates that I want. And I just don't think that's the best use of your dollar. When you can spend probably half the money you would spend on an ad and reach the exact audience you want to reach. Any other questions? Yeah. What's your name?
My name is Farah.
All right, so I like to know people's names. Sorry.
It's fine. I come from a completely different background because the issue is I'm trying to promote a concept rather than a brand. And it becomes hard because you don't know who you're, it becomes hard because you're trying to talk to so many different types of people. And the platforms that currently, like we're talking about, currently all the platforms are geared towards either individual usage where you're talking about yourself and people are engaging because you're a person, or as a brand and you're kind of riding different waves that exist through the trends on social media. But if you're someone that's trying to promote a concept or an idea, it becomes very challenging and it becomes very expensive because you can't target people the same way. You know what I mean?
I think I get a sense of what you're saying. I think even if you have a concept and an idea, there's an audience for everything. So like, are you okay to go into the idea? Yeah.
No. I work with an NGO that works on promoting the concept of social entrepreneurship in Egypt. But explaining social entrepreneurship is very hard in a society where entrepreneurship is still young and the concept of entrepreneurship is still young. And then explaining social entrepreneurship and sustainable development is almost like super obscure, and there's no real kind of easy, short way of getting people to connect. But it
Yeah.
becomes very hard, even through video, which is super engaging. Still.
Yeah. I want to talk to you afterwards because I want to connect you with an amazing filmmaker that I think could be helpful. Because what I think is incredibly important is when you're telling stories, like personalizing them. And like the way you can personalize it, like telling a story of an entrepreneur that is doing amazing work to impact their community. There's something that there's a passionate story there that will tug on heartstrings. I think within a 2-minute piece, you can convey that. I honestly believe that. It goes back to the power of storytelling. I think that's one of the things I was trying to talk about here is that we have to find a way to authentically tell stories. And like that's going to be the win. Compelling stories will win. We all know, like to your point about advertising, like there are certain ads that we all remember that have touched us in a certain way that we'll always remember. Whether it's the Apple ad, whether it's Jeep, they did this amazing ad in the States. Like there's certain ads that will always stick with you. And so like, what can you do to cut through the clutter and tell stories and personalize them? So if it's highlighting a social entrepreneur that is impacting their community against all odds, like tell that story and bring that to life, and like create. One of the things I think my last point, because I see them coming for me. The last thing I'll say is that it's incredibly important when you're a brand or an NGO or whatever you are, that when you're creating content, that you're not the focal point of the content. Sometimes it's important to just be a character within the content. So tell the story of the entrepreneur or the entrepreneurs that have different backgrounds, that have overcome so much and that have impacted their community. Tell that story. And then what you do at the end, you tie in your brand as the catalyst that helped them move forward and create what they created. And I think that's a powerful story. There's another, I think you should go on Instagram, follow an account called Humans of New York. Check them out. And he does an incredible job of just taking a picture and using the caption to tell these incredible stories about everyday New Yorkers that have gone through the most, craziest situations, and he brings them to life. And I think like if you can find a way to do that type of thing, I think you'll have some wins. Any other questions? Thank you all so much. I really appreciate it.